Greetings. Is this the correct live stream? Am I in the right place? For some reason, when I tried to go live, it connected me to a totally different thing. I'm going to click on this and see, because I sent out links everywhere. Am I live? Can you guys hear me? Is this the right place? Have we all arrived at this point? Alright, I see Tyler. What did you say? Oh no. I can't see my chat now. Posted the link in the old live. Okay. Yeah, I did it again? That's annoying. I'm an old man on the internet, and this is what happens. So weird. Okay. Well, I'm going to continue with this one either way. I'll say the spiel I said, but even faster this time. I'm going to start giving away books every month through the live streams. I'm going to be giving this one away around the new year at some point, so stay tuned if you want this Draw a Steel book. And also, anytime you see me going live for any reason, I'm going to be doing some sort of giveaway for a while here. Like, if you haven't seen my video yesterday, I have too many dice, and I need to give some away. So, I thought it'd be fun to start off with this set, as it matches the Down Among the Dead book that I'm using today. They're like this seafoam green. And, yeah, Melnick, I don't know why that keeps happening to me, but this is the second time I've accidentally gone live in the wrong place, so whoops. But I think we're in the right place now, and I'm going to see if I can pull up the chat so I'm actually talking to the right people. Alright, and then I'll go back into my spiel here. Where am I? This is the internet. Okay, yep, I see it. We got the right title, got the right people here. Thank you guys for sticking with me through that. That was rough. But yeah, I'm going to give these away. The way that you enter is by signing up for my newsletter. There should be a link in the description, if this is the right video, that takes you to my Substack. So you can sign up for the email there, and then I will pull someone at the end of this video, and you can send me an email, and I'll send you those dice. I don't care where you are, unless it's like North Korea, then I probably can't get them there. But I already did some rolling on a separate stream, so I've been using Pirate Borg and Down Among the Dead, which is a Pirate Borg adventure supplement. And I rolled up Black Harbor is the name so far. It's going to be a huge island covered with tall white grass and a freshwater lake and fruit trees. I rolled jungle that's always raining, so like a rainforest, and a cove with a plateau. And that's basically it. We got some jewel-colored birds and some rocky shallows, but I'm going to keep things going and try to cobble this stream back together. And I did announce this in the other one, so these are all my patrons. Thank you guys for buying me coffee and supporting me. It is a huge help to the channel. All right, so back to it. We have this gorgeous book here with this idea that I'm totally not going to just steal from my own book. It'll just be about dungeons instead of islands. Where to buy Down Among the Dead? The Kickstarter forwards a pre-order site. Well, I think Tyler is in here, so he could probably tell you, but I believe it's still in Kickstarter launch, but you can do late pledges, if I remember right. So, correct me if I'm wrong if you're still here, Tyler. But, yeah, so let's see. Let's see who the denizens are. And this is kind of a cool double table here, so I'm going to roll both sides. 4 and 6. Unfriendly. Oh, well, this is jungle, so this goes with the terrain one, I think. Are these just different kinds of terrain, I guess, all the way down? So our denizens are unfriendly. But then we roll a d12 to see what those denizens are. And I got 5. D4 demons. Oh no. That's rough, but I love it. So, we have some unfriendly demons as along with these colorful jeweled birds. I mean, are demons ever friendly? I don't know. I'm going to write it down, though, because I rolled it. Alright. And then we have some more landmarks. I guess, I rolled in the other book, but now that I have this down among the dead, I'm going to roll in both and kind of go back and forth and connect some of them. So, 3 D8 standing stones. I'm going to re-roll this only because the last island I did featured standing stones. Troll Skull Island already has like a bunch of hinges, and then we already have a ape hinge, which is like this ape rock somewhere in the jungle. I got a 10. Ships, boats. Ships, boats. Ships, boats. Okay. I'm going to say these boats are... We already rolled Rocky Shallows, and I'm going to put wrecked ships. Because I think that would be a fun POI to explore. A bunch of derelict ships floating in the shallows that you probably have to swim for. And I use, just so you know, I use all these kinds of tables very loosely. They are pure inspiration. I definitely don't go by everything that I roll, but I try to use it in some way if I can. Second denizens. 3d6 skeleton corsairs. Oh, lava cult. That just sounds fun. I just want to read some of these. Can you guys see this? Here, I'll pull it up. Denizens 2 is what I'm reading from. So we have lava cult, 3d6 skeleton corsairs, coral shoggoth. I don't even know what that is. I need to look in the book. Colony of deep ones, otherworldly horrors, wraith with wizard staff, fisherman ghosts. Oh, these are great. Family of castaways, vampire jaguars. Oh, that's almost like we had some basically like vampiric Komodo dragons on the last island on Jotunheim, or Jotunstein, I guess is what it ended up being. And then just a bunch of other really fun things, like a battalion of soldiers and pirate necromancers. Okay, what did I get? I got a 3. Skeleton corsairs, although I want to know what a coral shoggoth is. If you'll humor my curiosity for a minute, I'm going to find what this is, because that just sounds awesome. Slight spoilers for this adventure if you're watching, but I'll try not to totally spoil it. Where's the coral shoggoth? It's probably a monster, which they're usually in the back. Denizens. I'm gonna go to 79 and see if we find it. Alright, well, it may be in the other book, and I just don't remember that one specifically. Oh, wait a minute, here's some stuff. The Bride Witch. Pelagic vampires. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't want to spoil a bunch, so I'm not going to show all of it right now. But we'll go back over here, and we'll keep rolling for this island. Sorry, I'm not kind of keeping up with chat right now, but I'll take a peek and see. Gorgeous greens, I know. Blue and green are like my favorite colors, so any combo of blue-green, I'm just obsessed with. Which, I have to say, I'm giving away a dice set that I do really like. I think it's a pretty color. I just, in my old age, you guys know the spiel. I use these kind of dice way more often than these. As long as it's super legible, that's what matters to me now. So, giving away dice. Anyway, alright. I think we have some stuff to go off of here. I'm going to look back at the original Pirate Borg one more time, just to see if there are any more fun ideas to cook up. I haven't even broken up in Knave this session. Alright, current conflicts. 9. Recent shipwrecks, that makes sense. Survivors stranded. So we have some birds, some demons, and some stranded survivors. All right. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, I accidentally made 2 streams somehow. I think I launched the stream before the time of the other stream, so it made a second one. But I don't know. I'm bad at YouTube. Fellowship of the Stream. Demons are always friendly. That's how they get you. That's fair. They do want to pull you in with their scheming. That's absolutely fair. When they seduce you by appealing to your desires, make you feel good, that's when they hook you. Old age. Pfft. Friendly demons, they're friendly on... They're friendly oni in lots of manga. Yeah. Very true. Yeah, if you're wondering, I got my Down Among the Dead stuff while I was at PAX. They allowed us to pick up our Kickstarters early. I guess maybe I'm assuming this to save them on some shipping, and you know, as a backer, you want your stuff as soon as you can get it. So, win-win. All right. Anyways, I'm getting way off track here. Let's roll 2d6 again and see what the darkness is on the island. The dark of Hot Springs Island. Cultists, of course. That makes perfect sense to me. If we've got demons and, you know, stranded survivors, there's probably a cult involved. So, I'm going to write cult. Okay. So, Black Harbor has 3 POIs so far. We have our Ape Henge. We have a waterfall that is somewhere in our always raining jungle here. This is the stuff we've generated. The basics. Ooh, wow. I ripped through the paper there. Basics of the island. And now we get to do the fun part, which is generating ideas. And this is where I'm going to bring Knave in. And from now on, we only need a D100 because Knave. Blue Oyster Cult. Alright, so I'm going to go with... I want to decide something about this jungle. Because right now, jungle is fine. That's interesting enough. But let's come up with something that's going on in this jungle. And I'm going to use like the room themes or the delve kind of stuff to figure out what else is happening here. I got an 83, and I'm going to pay more attention to the 80 than the 3. So, room themes are stasis, statues, which seems to be, you know, a repeat theme here. Summoning. That is 82. Survival and summoning. Wow, that's weird how much that matched. Tyler from Limithron here. We airshipped in stuff ahead of schedule for PAX U, but we wanted to make sure to support the backers too. It actually cost us more to do it that way, but it's worth it. Books should ship in January. There you go. January's right around the corner, so awesome. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. Listen to Tyler. But I appreciate getting this book early because it means I get to use it in these live streams, which are all about island crawling, so I'm excited. Alright, dungeon. Wait, I already forgot. We basically got the stuff we already got. Statues, summoning, and survival. Teeth. Teeth are important. I'm going to see if there's anything else interesting in this jungle. 26. A criminal den. Curiosity cabinet. A dam. Court. Death trap. Corpse. I'm not super stoked on any of those. I am going to re-roll. 66. Museum. Monster lair. mushroom forest, and a nest. I do like mushroom forest. And I may even put like a mushroom themed dungeon on this island, so that might actually match up nicely. Either probably questionable morals or the fungal problem, which is like a ShadowDark adventure by Michael Putluck from Night Noon Games and JP Couvert. So yeah, that makes sense. I think I'm going to say mushroom forest. So let's start with our POI. I'm going to say... actually, let me write this down or I will forget it the second I walk away from here. Mushroom forest. Okay. Because I don't want to start with the mushroom forest. I want to start with the first POI being our rocky shallows with wrecked ships. I need an evocative name for that. Let's see. I'm going to call it the Dagger Shallows. Mushroom Pirates, I like that. Ooh. Or Dagger Cove. Dagger Cove is good too. I'm not going to worry too much about the name though. Alright, so in this Dagger Shallows, Dagger Cove, we have our derelict ships. What else do we have? Where did I write that? Tall grass, fresh fruit. Where did I write the boats part? Oh, waters. Rocky shallows, wrecked ships. So I'm going to say this is where our survivors are. Maybe they're like living among the wreckage of their ships. Shallow of Blades. That's pretty good. Or the Biting Shallows or something. I keep thinking like Knife Coast, but then that's like Sword Coast. Okay, anyways. I'm going to put bullet points. Survivors of several wrecked ships. And I want something to be there that they're like sort of vying over, or a reason that they're sticking around even though their ships are like sinking and on the rocks. So I'm going to roll on the hazards here to see what we get. 93 vacuum. Travel, shift, vines. And let's also look at like equipment, because I'm thinking more like what could be the reason they're sticking around despite this terrible situation, other than obviously being stranded. Tools 16, bottles, bucket, miscellaneous items. We get cups, crystals, and then let's look at like treasure. Candelabras, carpets, celestial map, crystals, celestial map, butterfly sword. I'm not feeling super inspired by this yet. Maybe I'll look at spells and potions and see if there's something weird going on here that's making them stick around. Cure wounds is 16 on this, and then let's go to spells. Cloud. We already had a cloud giant on the last island, so I'm going to stay away from clouds. Cold. So maybe like some freezing healing magic, as weird as that sounds. Cold and what was it? Cure wounds. I'm trying to think how to combine these into something interesting. You guys may have already come up with it, but I'm patiently waiting for my physicals. Got my digitals through. Mashup of all great books. Very rad. Thank you. Yeah, I try to use all the parts of the cow, so to speak. They are charmed by the minerals in the rocks and the shallows. Survivors in factions like the ships they inhabit. That's a cool idea too. Hey, what's up, Agile Monk? And Twin Still. What's up? Sorry, I'm being a bad streamer. I'm pulling back on the live part to focus on what we're making here, but I liked two of those suggestions. They're charmed by the minerals in the rocks, and there are survivors in factions. Survivors of several wrecked ships. I'm gonna say I like this idea that maybe the cult and the demons are involved too. Then I'm gonna say like they're sowing distrust. Survivors of several wrecked ships. Distrust each other. And I'm just gonna leave it vague for the moment and say due to, maybe this isn't vague. I'm gonna say resonant magic in the minerals. I liked your idea, Swords and Stones, about the minerals kind of charming them, but I think I'm going to twist it and say that it's these cultists and some of the power they weave is causing this seed of discord among the groups, where normally humans would seek to help each other out. In times like these, they are distrusting of each other. And then I'll just put in parentheses, cult. So I remember that this is the reason. And maybe I forget to write crystals. This is why I clean it up in post. Because maybe this is the reason the cultists are here. Maybe this sort of strange crystal that's present on this island amplifies their magic. And so they are here to harvest it to summon more demons, and they are just using its innate power right now to confuse these survivors who keep crashing on this place. Other than that, I want to decide like what these ships are carrying, what was in them, because players gonna loot. They're gonna want to know, and maybe we should roll up like what the. I'm gonna say no more than 2 or 3 factions, because that's already a lot of ships to be banked on these dagger shallows. Personal tip for roll tables: if you don't like what you rolled, just auto go one down the list rather than re-rolling. Much faster, and players at the table won't know you did it. Yeah, I do that sometimes, but in prep I tend to take a little bit more time just to see if something else, and mostly because I have found in doing these streams that Knave in particular is in alphabetical order. So I'll start to get a lot of like really samey kind of feeling things if I stick in one number range, and it just ends up being, I don't know, kind of weird. So Knave I re-roll, otherwise yes, I absolutely agree with what you're saying. Build my own word association disconnected. Yeah. Zombie ice trolls. Oh, that's fun. Did we have a troll on the last island? Or am I remembering that right? Or maybe I'm thinking of the adventure that I was writing. Anyways, I'm gonna roll just to see something about NPCs real quick. Personalities maybe. Alright, you should see the other one, Tyler. We had a lot of fun making the Jotunstein Island. That one ended up being really cool. It had a weird lighthouse and a coral golem and stuff. Maybe these are the troll islands. Oh, all of them. And that main one is just Troll Skull Island. I like that. Alright, so I got a flat 8. So the first one is alright, bully. Bully, can-do attitude, braggart. But what do they sell? Professions. Let's go to professions. I'll just reuse the 8. I got archetype. Archer, artisan, artist, baker. Braggart bakers. Okay, let's do factions. I think because there's already cultists on this island, I'm only going to do 2 factions. Otherwise, this is going to get really convoluted. So we're going to say Braggart bakers, which is hilarious to me. And alright, personalities. 48. We got intense. Hunters, herbalists, innkeepers, hermits. Hermit is a weird one. How could I'm trying to think, like, is there like some way you could stretch hermit to be really interesting in this situation? Because sometimes when I get a weird result that doesn't make sense, I want to lean harder into it until it does make sense. I think it's a fun kind of like practice to have, because then when you roll a table and you're like, how can I make this make sense in this moment, sometimes it sparks really interesting ideas that are off the beaten path, kind of. Okay, so I got intense hermits. Maybe they're all like old lighthouse keepers and they're in a guild, and so they were traveling together to these different islands. And usually they're solitary people, but they had to work together or something like that. I don't know. Is that interesting, or is that just bizarre? Tried to convince you to mash up several rolls into a zombie ice troll with a beehive inside of it. I don't think you ended up using it, but I did end up using the beehive and the troll. That's right. On Troll Skull Island, there is a troll that has like bugs that it controls, basically. I didn't mash up all the ideas, but I put some of them together. Cannibals. Cannibals is always fun. The minerals are all hermits that keep the pirates as pets. Don't like the other hermit minerals. What if they had to maintain the lighthouse, or else a sea monster is freed from the deep? Ooh. Alright, I think we have a winner. It combines my idea, which I already like because, you know, self-bias, and then a cool idea I didn't come up with. Alright, so I'm going to say intense. I'm just going to call it Lighthouse Guild. Oh, actually, Lamplighters is my guild, so Lamplighters. Wow, that is... I can't even read my own handwriting. L-A-M-P... Lighters. Intense Lamplighters, and I'm going to put... lighthouses... ward off. I'm just going to say deep ones and leave it really vague. Because that's fun. Sometimes leaving yourself an out for later in the campaign, is a good idea. Because I'm generating these all ahead of time, if there's something that the players bite onto, like a cult of, I don't know, some kind of like Kraken, Sons of the Kraken cult or something, then I can insert that later by leaving this kind of vague. So, alright, so we got this is the Shallows. I don't think we need anything else. Lighthouse keepers are going to have, you know, oil and lamps and generic sort of supplies, and the bakers are obviously going to have baking supplies. So, I'll just put that. Oil, lamps, / baking supplies. Alright, so this is we've got one POI down, and I'm rapidly running out of time. So I got to move a little bit faster on these other 2 POIs. We have our jungle, which I'm gonna call. Now that I know that this place has like some weird crystals and stuff going on, I'm gonna say. I feel like we already had like a cloud and an ice theme on the last one though, so I don't want to lean too much into similar themes. But what if they have to make, lighthouse keepers looking for the sacred light of the sun, an ultimate light used in ancient lighthouse built centuries ago. I'm not going too epic with this campaign, by the way. I should say this is like a very not even sword and sorcery, like low magic. At least to begin. I know stuff always ends up spiraling out of control as you go higher levels, but this is ShadowDark, by the way. Even though I'm sporting the Pirate Borg shirt and I'm using the Pirate Borg book, I'm mostly running ShadowDark early levels right now, and then I'm going to switch to Pirate Borg when they do like ship combat and stuff. So I'm kind of merging the 2. But I like the headspace of. I do have a guild. In fact, that sort of is their creed, is that they, it's basically like another cult or another religion that it's all about light-based stuff. So there's stuff that's in my head that you guys don't know, and so yeah. Jungle with crystals, the crystal cops. There we go. Boom. I love it. Okay, and sorry for getting way off track there. This is what happens when you put a guy with ADHD in front of a camera, and I start rolling dice and forgetting things I've rolled. Just while we're here, I'm gonna say that the cult. I think I've already decided the cult lives behind this waterfall. There's an ape hinge here, but I think it's almost too stereotypical, if that's the right word, or too commonplace to have the cult be around this strange hinge. I want to hide them behind this waterfall, which is going to be in the back of the jungle. I think this ape hinge is in the middle. So really, we almost have 4 POIs because I ended up making this into a POI. But I think it's really just the shallows and then the jungle, and these 2 things are in it. So kind of combining a lot of things right now. NPC details. Now let's go with personalities. 17. I think I rolled a 16 last time. That's weird. Courageous, cowardly, creep, cryptic. I want to get out of the seas. 53. Knows everybody. Oh, that's kind of a weird one for a cult, right? Like, how often do you find a cult and they're like plugged in? You know what I mean? That's cool though. I kind of like this idea. Crystal cops. Alright, so I'm just gonna put a note over here somewhere. Cult knows everybody. Alright, because I need to focus on the jungle itself for a moment. I need like one more book to roll in, because I feel like I'm hitting a lot of the same ideas with old Knave 2E here. Crystalline trees, that is a fun idea. Does the cult know that there's a whole world outside of the waterfall? Or is it like a portal to them? Yeah. Switch up the 2 numbers for sure. Yeah, I could switch 35 to 53. That's a good point. Then I just don't have to re-roll. I'm trying to think where I'm gonna find an interesting. All right, let's roll a hazard. I got 54 on here, so let's look at 45 and 54. Ink is a weird one, and molten iron doesn't really make sense with what I'm imagining this, because I rolled cold earlier, and so that's sticking in my mind, I guess, because I'm thinking this is like a cold rain jungle, although we have a cloud jungle on the last stream. And I try not to do too many repeat feeling things. I do like crystal, I think it was Twin Steel, yeah, crystalline trees. So maybe these are like, okay, I'm going to say I almost wrote forest, literally jungle. A jungle of crystalline trees. Ooh, the lake. I forgot I wrote a lake. Good call. A jungle of crystalline trees surrounding an inky black lake. And waterfall. I want to have something fun about the crystalline trees that isn't just an aesthetic. I'm gonna roll trap effect and see, and then I'll look at like magic and potions. 42, 24. Alright, 24 is delivering or deafening. 42 would be imprisoning, and I'll look at magic. Actually, let's look at hazards. Hot wax. Dust? Okay. Let's look at spells. Effects. I like the effects list. Foreseeing. Oh man, I just watched season 3 of Wheel of Time, and that's giving me the same vibes with the foreseeing thing. Maybe they get glimpses of potential futures. Hey, it's Tim the editor. Tim helped me make yesterday's awesome thumbnail. I had a really crappy Uncanny Valley version of that, and then he made it actually look real and good. So, thank you, Tim. What was 24? Corrupting. Yeah, I like this idea that hot wax living La Vida Loca. You're stuck on the hot wax and the molten metal, huh? Alright, a jungle of crystalline trees surrounding an inky black lake and waterfall. I'm going to say the trees, because they're the same sort of crystal that's in the dagger shallows, the trees hum with resonant tones, causing, I either want to say glimpses or omens. I'm going to say omens. Omens is a more powerful word. Omen, it does more heavy lifting. Omens of, I'm going to just say doomed futures. Because there's a really fun table in, let me hold my page. There's a really fun table in both of these books, Down Among the Dead and the classic, I keep wanting to say Borg. Classic Pirate Borg book. These ash tables are so trippy. You know, they have stuff like, last night you went swimming with a pig and deep in the jungle, and now you're missing a digit or eye. And I could like use these to inspire some visions. There's a really fun ash table in here. And let's see if I can find it without spending too much time on this. Lost to the locker. No, I think that's the... What is a Chorgoroth? Anyway, there's one in here too. But basically, they're these like really trippy drug effect kind of things. And actually, Tyler rolled up a few. We all partook of the ash in our Pirate Borg game at PAX. But I can use those to create some dark omens for this, basically. And that'll be a fun thing to roll up in the moment. So I will just save that and leave it at dark omens or doomed futures. And in fact, I'll put roll ash effects. Pirate Borg. Okay. So a jungle of crystalline trees surrounding an inky black lake and waterfall. The trees hum with resonant tones causing omens of doomed futures. So that's just the place, and then we have our waterfall and our ape hinge. I'm going to do waterfall first because it's the one I think I have the most fleshed out in my mind. So what direction do we think that is? Let's say D8 clockwise, starting with north. Oh no, 5. North. Northeast. Why did I do it this way? East. Southeast. South. Okay, it's on the south side of the island. Okay. I'm really getting crazy here. South waterfall. And just to make my life easier later on, I'm going to say that the Dagger Shallows are on the north side of the island. Which means the ape hinge is in the middle. So that makes life really easy. It's just a straight line of an island. South waterfall. Inky black waterfall. So what other kind of weird things... You rolled ash and got super rich, but then blew it all on guns and indulgences. Classic. Ink Lake? That was a cool name for it. Oh, maybe the Stonehenge is in the middle of the Ink Lake, and then we can combine the two into one POI. So I'm going to write Ape Hinge, Ink Lake. Oh, I forgot about the mushroom forest thing. I guess we didn't end up using that. Maybe there's some weird crystal mushrooms, and they make you trip balls whenever you eat them or something. So I'm going to write crystal mushrooms. And maybe that is actually where the doomed omens come from. Maybe they heal you, but cause terrible omen visions. Although there's some really cool potion kind of effects and stuff in Knave. But anyways, I don't want to get too lost in the sauce. Alright, so we have the South Waterfall. And I wanted to create some other detail about it. Because I think the inky black water may have an effect. So yeah, let's just go there anyway. Potions. 53 or 35. Hearing and mind reading. Okay. Let's see what else is around mind reading. Might, monstrous trait. Ooh, I love a good monstrous trait. 65. So 26 or 62. Flexible. 62, we get ooze form. Oh, we have a winner. I don't even care what the rest of this is. I'm going to say you drink from the Black Lake and you become like an ooze for a time. The South Waterfall. Inky. I'm actually going to say it's absorbent. It's almost like inky viscous. Viscous water undulates into the lake. I do not know how to spell either of those words. Shroom hinge. How do you spell undulates? Someone who's smarter than me. U-N-D-U-L. Undulates into a darker than black, blacker than black, blacker lake. Inky viscous water undulates into an inky lake. And I'm just gonna say, like, submerging in it. Because I think no one's gonna drink this, which is gonna, like, potentially get rid of our cool ooze form. Inky viscous water undulates into a blacker lake. Submerging causes ooze form. And I'm gonna say for D4 hours. Because that's fun and usable later. If somebody, like, I don't know, dips a flask in here and takes some with them, and they're like, can I keep some of this and use it as like a potion later? And be like, hell yeah, do it. You get ooze form for D4 hours. What is that? We'll see. Okay, I think that's enough about the lake, and then I'm gonna write behind the lake. Hey, this fits too, because this is called Black Harbor, is the name we rolled up. So now we know why it's called Black Harbor. Behind the lake is the cult. I don't know. I'm going to put blank cult. We already know they are involved with the demons, and they want the crystals for themselves. This just kind of arrived naturally, I think. I don't think we have to roll for much here. They want the power of the crystals to amplify their summoning magic. I think we rolled summoning at one point, and I didn't write it down. Summoning magic to... I'm going to say... Hey, what's up, Limithron? What's going on? Thank you. This is a great shirt. I love it. Summoning magic to... Basically, I'm going to say summon their deity. But they're also using those crystals to keep people at bay with these dark omens. Using crystals... Can you guys even see this anymore? To... I'm going to say sow... Is it S-E-W or S-O-W for that kind of sowing? To sow discord? To sow... discord amongst the survivors. Alright. Forgive my terrible handwriting. I will clean all this up whenever I actually write this proper in my notebook. But yeah, I think that's plenty of info about the waterfall. We know what the waterfall is, and that it has this weird black sludge that's pouring into the lake. And then we know why the cult's there, basically. So the only thing we have left is Ape Hinge, our third POI. And if you guys can think of a better name than that, then by all means. Alright, let's see. I've not been paying attention to chat. Ice squids in the bromeliads of this cold jungle. Twin steel, dude. You're coming up with the most unhinged stuff. I love it. Okay. So, since you're here, Luke, we rolled up this island using kind of a combination of the regular Pirate Borg book and then some things from Down Among the Dead. So we've come up with this Black Harbor, and then I rolled some things in Knave 2E to kind of inspire what was already there. So we're combining a lot of resources to create this really strange island for my players to explore. Alright, and then let's go ahead. We've got our 3 POIs, Crystal Copse. We got the lake that's in the Crystal Copse. And then we're going to do... I think 8-Pinge is in the middle of this lake, so it gives them also a reason to try to get to an island on the middle of the lake, and that way they might actually fall in, submerge, and take on this ooze form and find out what the inky waters do. Overrated books for sure. Do you have Sundered Isles? I don't know. I don't think I do. Is that one of yours, or is that something else? Okay, I'm going to move on to the... 8-Pinge is not the word I want. What's a better word than 8-Pinge? Kong? Go for a classic word here. I'm going to write Kong Isle. Oh, Iron Sword Solo. Yeah, Island Sword. Okay. I did not know that. I will definitely check that out. That sounds awesome. Sew Discord. It is no. Okay. Yeah, so not like sewing your pants when you rip them. Okay, let's see. We have Kong Isle. And I'm just going to write. We already rolled up that there was... We rolled up 8-Pinge, and I'm going to say in the middle, in the center of the inky lake, is a vine-covered visage of a stone ape. Okay, so we already decided the cultists were here behind the lake in their little hideout. But what is this? Okay, I think I have an idea already. It's kind of brewing. I think this is the deity that they think they're summoning. I think that this giant stone ape once dwelt on this island, and since I named it Kong Isle, I think we all kind of know the direction that goes if they summon it. But I don't think there's a whole lot on this island except for some treasures, some offerings to this long forgotten beast. So I think I'm going to leave this one pretty open-ended, because I may even roll in the moment and decide kind of what's on this island based on either, honestly, a lot of times what I'll do is what the players desperately need, and then I'll put a few odds and ends around it, and I often use stuff like Knave to roll this up. And this is actually something I do in front of my players a lot of the times, just to show them that I'm not just I don't know, stiffing them with bad loot. But where'd my other D10 go? It's a D8. Oh, there it is. But I'll just go ahead and roll some things just for fun. I'll look at tools and miscellaneous items like a bear trap. And I forgot to write offerings to the Great Kong. Rest around this? Forgotten Idol. Alright, but yeah, we got... There's a bear trap here. Maybe it's still active. What did I get? So I'm going to say 60 and 6. That gives us bear trap and mortar and pestle. Sure. Miscellaneous items. 6 is a box. Oh, it's got to be a box of something though, right? Box of paintbrushes. I'm just going to say box of paint, because then we can decide that the paintbrushes are with it. And then let's look at maybe a book. I'm going to stick with my roles there. Archaeology, that makes sense. And medicine. Running out of room over here. I'm punching my camera mount right now. Meds. No. And then last but not least, treasures. Alright, 60 and 6. Belt. Blackmail. Planner map. No, we're re-rolling. 20 and 2. An amulet. And... I don't like clock. I'm going with chandelier. Amulet. Why do I roll a bunch of stuff I don't know how to spell? Where did it go? No, I'm going with candelabra, actually. Alright, so we have our random crap. If they... What is this? Is he making a hex crawl? Kind of. I'm making a point crawl, basically. I'm using a lot of the island generation from Pirate Borg. And then I'm spicing it up with some Knave 2E. And I'll have to check out the pirate, the Sundered Isles. I definitely need to get that, because this whole thing I've been doing is a giant island crawl that mixes like Pirate Borg and ShadowDark, basically. But we have... Just because some people are probably here that have never seen the other ones I've done. Basically, I have this little booklet I've been making. And this is my mad scribblings. But we have Troll Skull Island. We have our POIs. I made an entire dungeon on a different stream, which you can still check out on this playlist, called Psalm of the Sleeper. It's a ShadowDark adventure beneath Troll Skull Island. And then we rolled up Jotunstein, and I think we did one other island that I may have not transferred to the book yet. But, yeah, and this is Black Harbor. So this is going to be one of the islands that the players get to choose from. Thousand Islands. Yes, point crawls are superior. I do like my hex crawls if we're on land, but, you know, we'll see how this goes. I'm trying something different. I've never done like an island-based adventure, and I'm super stoked to actually use the naval combat rules and stuff from Pirate Borg, because I think they're great. They're like just enough information for my brain. I like what's there. I think it's rules medium is kind of what I refer to it as. There's just enough to go off of, but it doesn't overwhelm you. And I just love the different boats and rafts and things. Like, I'm definitely just pulling these straight from Pirate Borg and throwing them in ShadowDark, so it should be interesting. It's going to be an odd mix of things, but that's my GM style. I am the Swiss Army knife of game masters. I cut and steal and smash things together. And usually, my players don't really care. They're like, alright, yeah, that's cool. That works. So, anyways, this has been Black Harbor Island. hopefully you guys enjoyed this process. I'm going to keep doing these as long as I can, because I've got a lot more islands to generate for my players. Right now they're delving into the dungeon we wrote, Psalm of the Sleeper, and they're about halfway through it. Right now we're playing once a month, but I'm trying to get them to go to twice a month, so that the giveaway. Don't let me forget. I gotta give these dice away to somebody. I'm all over the place today. Welcome to ADHD Live. Yeah, anyways, it's been a fun adventure so far. A lot of them, this is their first time playing any role-playing game. Some of them have played other games with me. I have some of my classic players playing, but yeah. If you guys stuck around and you want a chance to win these dice, they match Down Among the Dead, which is fun. But these are some, I realize I have way too many dice, so I'm going to give these away. So let's do this right now. I'm going to pull up one of these spin the wheel things, and yeah, we're going to see who gets to win these dice. This will definitely be the least interesting part of this entire stream. Maybe. Unless you were bored by me rolling on tables. Okay. Pick a winner. Oh, wait. Wheel of names. And then I have to pull up, go to the mailing list right now if you want to be entered in, because I'm about to choose somebody. And let's see. There are 127 names in there, so you can be 128 in the next 30 seconds while I figure out how to pull up the list of names. Where are they? Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna drag and copy all these names. Oh, I gotta load them all. And more. I guess I could show this, but it's got everyone's emails, so I'm not going to do that. Sorry you're just looking at my hands, but I don't want to live blast everyone's emails to the internet. So, bear with me. Loading. I guess I shouldn't put myself in there. Why am I the last one on my own subscriber list? That's weird. The internet is a weird place. Okay. I already have a list from last time. Alright, here we go. Paste. I hit paste, and the website froze. That's not a good sign. Or reload. Nope. Maybe this wasn't the best way to do this, but okay, there we go. Oh no, did it really? Alright, sorry y'all. I'll do this in a more efficient way in the future. But it put in not only everyone's email, which I can't show, but also put how much they subscribe. Or like the amount they subscribe by, which I don't want to show either. That would be very bad. So give me a minute while I actually, you know what? I may just do this and then post it, but then I was gonna say you have to email me. So thanks for not doxing us. You're welcome. I'll do this offline. This is not entertaining, and I'm gonna have to shave this off the video. But I guess that's it then. Sorry for the anticlimactic thing, but I will immediately post after the stream ends who I rolled without doxing anyone's email, and I'll tag them. But yeah, that's it. So sorry for a weird ending, but thank you guys for sticking around. Luke is entertained, and it's his game that I'm using, so that's what matters. I appreciate you guys so much. This was a lot of fun. I'm going to keep doing these live streams. I'm going to keep giving away dice because I have too many. Do the drawing. We want it now. Oh. All right. You know what? It's your game, so... I just have to delete a whole bunch of stuff, which is not super fun to watch. And, like, my... full disclosure, I'm in a closet right now, so my microphone is, like, crammed in the way of the screen because I don't really need it when I'm doing this. So, if you want to see me delete 100 non-entries so that I can do this, I am happy to do that. I'll just ramble about ttrpgs. So, I just went to PAX. I made a whole video about it. It was a really fun time. I got to hang out with some of the Pirate Borg guys while I was there. Oh, thanks, man. Mono makes it, by the way, make the best dice, period. Yours are a close third, Limithron. I like my Mono Mix dice because they're huge, and then I like my Rune Hammer dice because they're also huge and legible, and I am an old man with aging eyes. But actually, the font on the Pirate Borg dice are great. I love that font. Super easy to read. It's very stylistic without being, sometimes, I'll say this on a live stream, sometimes the Mork Borg style stuff treads into an area that's difficult for me to read, and I don't really feel that way about Pirate Borg, which is why it is my favorite Borg. That's not the only reason. I just like pirates. But, yeah, so anyways, went to PAX, made a whole video about it, got to play with Tyler, had a super awesome Pirate Borg game, ton of fun. Got to play with Bob and Grace and some other folks that I didn't know before the con, but walked away with I think, some new friends. We had a really great time, and it was such a weird, eclectic group of people that meshed so well. We were just laughing the whole time, and it was... Pirate Borg has some great tables, let me say. By the time we ended up rolling characters, I felt like I knew exactly who my character was, and yeah, the chaos that ensued, because we all took Ash at some point, and we all had crazy drug trips, and Grace's character, Legs Winkelstein, named the unnameable god. I think she named him, like, Randy or something. It was great. It was a lot of fun. I highly recommend Pirate Borg. Go play it. This is not technically a Pirate Borg stream, but now it is. This is so tedious. I definitely, next time, will just do everybody from the moment I start the stream and have these names ready to go, because, oof. This is a lot of names to delete to delete how much they're paying. And that is an awkward thing to not try to blast on the internet. Subscribing. Now it's a Linux tutorial. True. You gotta do everything yourself when it's Linux. Also, I don't know how I'm on YouTube. I'm the most, like, not technically savvy. What's the word I'm looking like? Technically adverse human. Like, technology eludes me. I had a dumb phone for a really long time, and I liked it. I don't like having a smartphone. It buzzes at me too much. I'm a Luddite. And I'm becoming more so as I age, which I'm trying not to be the angry old man yelling at the clouds, but... Okay, are we there? Nope, that's one more. This is a really awkward angle. I'm going to move this. This is probably going to put my mic in the camera, but makes my life a little easier. I told you it was going to take a minute. Someone give me a question or a topic to talk about, other than just rambling and staring at my screen here. How are you guys? I'm a tech guy, and I have a dumb phone. Luddite? It means someone who doesn't like technology, basically. I think it refers to, like, a tribe of people, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. Dude, there's a lot of names. Also, the Down Among the Dead is a great book, but the shiny cover is making my mouse jump around. I just realized that's what it is. And it's got little bumps on it because it's raised. Holy cow. Why are you mixing ShadowDark and Pirate Borg? Like, is it a fantasy setting but pirates? Yes. The quick answer is yes. I pitched the game originally as ShadowDark, and my players were excited about that. And I was like, sure, yeah, I'm totally down to run some ShadowDark. So I didn't want to totally shift on them, but then I came up with a campaign premise that it was basically like kind of a Sea of Thieves situation where the world has been shattered into 1,000 islands, and they don't know why. And so I'm just having them explore different islands, and I'm basically taking adventures I already own and just cramming them all one at a time into different islands so that I both can create sort of a point crawl that uses material I already own. I don't have to come up with a ton of adventures on my own. But then there's flexibility with islands, because like I can just be like, hey, here was an uncharted island that wasn't on there, and I found a new adventure that I like, and I want to run that. And they don't have to know the difference, because, you know, piratey sort of times, maps weren't super accurate. So that's a fun thing I can do, and then they can find like hidden maps and stuff that locate these new islands that I introduced. Okay, we're finally at the end. Sorry, wow, holy cow, that was crazy. Click to spin. Here we go. Oh, it's wrong. Ding. All right, we have Jimmy Takata. Is that you, Taka? I don't want to give away your full email here. I'm just going to put this name in the chat. Where's the chat? Jimmy Takata. Yes, the physical book is very nice. I love it. Okay, that was the longest thing ever. Here we go. I'm just looking at myself look like an old man on the internet. Oh my god, I almost literally blasted the entire email list just now. Holy cow. That would have been so bad after all that. Okay, copy, not the image. Copy the words. That was almost really bad. Alright, there's our winner. Jimmy Takata. I don't know who that is, but if you watch this, or if you're here, or you watch it later, actually I can just email you because I have your email. So I will email you. There we go. I will email you, and you can tell me what your address is, and I will send you those beautiful dice. Sorry, that was the most anticlimactic ending ever possible. But that was the stream, folks. Thank you for sticking around for that. I'll do my little spiel at the end here. Like I've been saying, I'm gearing up to release a game of my own. I think I hear myself in the background. Are you guys hearing me twice? Probably. I'm gearing up to release a game of my own, so the mailing list is the reason that I'm doing these giveaways. Also, to be totally transparent, I would love people to know whenever I actually release this game, and YouTube is like the worst place ever to notify people of things. So I created a mailing list. I'm going to do updates about the game when they happen, and then I'm going to do stuff like these giveaways. And like I said in the beginning, eventually I'm going to give away some books starting in January. I think I'm going to do a book a month for a year. So if you want some free ttrpg swag, make sure to sign up for the mailing list. You might get dice, you might get books, but it's free. And then all you have to do is deal with a post from me every now and then. So appreciate you guys for watching this total mess. Started out with the wrong live stream, so I got to learn some things. if you know how to do live streams good, send me a Discord message. All right, that's it for today. Appreciate you guys all stopping by and sticking with it, despite the much longer process of that than I ever anticipated. Hopefully this was fun for you. Hopefully it gives you a bit of insight into how I prep these islands. And I think my next stream, instead of prepping the island, I'm going to talk about some of the prep I've already done on these islands and show you kind of how I take... You can go back and you can watch those streams if you want, but I'm going to talk about how I took what we made in those streams and converted them into something that I use at the table whenever I run those islands. Because, you know, obviously this is kind of a messy process. I'll show it one more time. This isn't what I take to the table. This is just too chaotic. This is my brain dump. And then by the end, you know, I streamline it into something that looks a bit more like this. You know, Troll Skull Island is 1 page. And that still gives me all the things I need to run a fun session. And stat blocks back that up, so whatever. Anyways, I'm just babbling now because I've been talking about nothing for like 10 minutes. So this is it. See you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Have a good Friday. And we'll see you next time. Learn, adapt, grow. Peace.